Yes.
There we go. All right, everyone. So this is Taley Hunt. And Taley, a little bit about what this call is. This is the Texas Power Up. So this is going to be a bunch of the Texas Place partners. And we have been doing this weekly kind of, series of just either panels or getting to know agents that are doing a really great job. And people wanted to know more about how to build their businesses with Instagram. So of course, the first person I thought of was you. So thanks so much for taking some time to come out. And why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit? Oh, and I know Taley from KWYP, but she's also in a bunch of other groups. So go ahead and let us know who you are.
So I obviously am a real estate agent. I work in the Columbia, South Carolina area. So I service Columbia, all of the surrounding areas, primarily the Fort Jackson and Shaw Air Force Base area. I am a military spouse, and I started real estate at the end of 2020. I found out I was pregnant the day I passed my exam, and I had just moved to a new state. I didn't know anyone except for my husband. You know, COVID was a thing. So it was kind of hard to get out there and meet people. So I just started using social media as the biggest catalyst for my growth. My first year, sold my first house in February of 2021. I had a baby in March of 2021. And then that year, I helped 28 families buy and sell. I did all of that without any childcare or any leverage. And then I implemented leverage into my business. And that next year was my second year, and I sold 86 houses. And this year to date, I have ratified 92 contracts. So
her goal was to sell 100 houses this year. Was like road to 100, and then it's like March. It's like I'm at like 50 already. We're like, damn, girl, you're gonna have to increase your goal. Yeah, and you do have a lot more leverage now, so we'll talk about that. But can you see why I wanted Taley to be on here? Go ahead, and it's Taley Hunt. You're welcome to put your information in the chat so people can start following you. And you just tell us a little bit about the leverage you've grown in just 3 years.
When I first started, I kind of had this ego or pride thing, or I think it was also like being very nervous to allow other people inside of my space and to handle my clients. So I felt like I was the only person that could help. I was the only person that could do anything. And then in my last quarter of my first year, I did more business than my first 3 quarters combined, because it was just, that snowball effect of ramping up. And I remember seeing on Facebook someone say, I'm looking for a real estate agent in Columbia. And I looked at my husband, I turned over in bed and said, God, I hope they don't recommend me, because I was so tired and I felt so burnt out. And it was at that point that I realized, okay, I've got to get some help, because I'm dealing with multiple transactions at one time. My first hire was a babysitter for my daughter, which made my entire life easier. And then I hired an all-in-one assistant. Someone that could help me with showings here and there, could put some lock boxes on the door. I hired a transaction coordinator, and that was someone that I paid per file. And that was awesome. Having that leverage was really, really great. Today, what my company looks like is me being a producing agent. I have my husband who just passed his licensing exam last week, so we're super excited about that. I have a full-time showing partner that I pay a commission to and a monthly salary. I have a transaction coordinator that is on salary, so she exclusively works for me. And I have a virtual assistant. And my husband has since switched from active duty military to the reserves so that we can stay put and don't have to move my business. And what we'll probably do is end up having him be some sort of producing agent once I launch an official team with KW.
Yeah. And that's amazing. And one of the reasons I wanted you to say who your team was is because one of the things you did not leverage was who does lead gen.
That's right. I do.
Lead gen is you.
Yeah, that's right. I don't have any sort of paid lead gen source. So social media is my thing. I don't do paid ads though, and I don't do Zillow or anything like that. I do leverage my systems for lead gen, which means I have my VA help me organize that, but I take care of it all myself.
Yes. And tell us a little bit about that. Like, what does your lead gen look like in a week? Like a typical week when you're just in town?
So instead of spending a few hours cold calling expires or FISBOs or door knocking or whatever, I spend time creating content for social media. And I spend time staying actively engaged on social media apps. I also really, really nurture my database. So for me, my business is primarily made up of people who find me on social media organically, agent referrals, and those people tend to find me through word of mouth or on social media, and then past clients, sphere stuff. When I first started, I didn't have any sphere, I didn't have any past clients. So my first client was actually an agent referral. They did not vet me out to see if I was brand new or not. They had no idea. So now, what happens is anytime I get a new lead or someone who reaches out to me that wants to buy or sell, I immediately screenshot all of their information and send it to my VA. She knows how to onboard them and what to do. Anytime we get a new referral, I have them send information over to my VA's email. She knows how to onboard them. And then once or twice a week, I sit down and I look at this spreadsheet that she's made for me with all of the people that are in my pipeline. And I make sure that I've reached out to them within the last few days so that I can stay on top of it, or make notes for when I need to reach out to them the next time. I don't use smart plans. I basically put myself on a smart plan to be reminded to reach out to them so that it is more authentic. And then in terms of additional lead gen, I work my database. So I reach out to my past clients and anybody who's in my database with the DTD2 method. And I do that faithfully so that I can stay top of mind. I do at least 4 client events every single year. And I also created a Fort Jackson and Shaw Air Force Base moms group, and I have mom and me play dates every so often so that I can meet and mingle with other people.
And you said that you are really faithful to your follow-up plan. How many contacts are you making, like per day or per week? Or do you have a goal, or
I don't really have a goal. I don't really have a so to be honest with you, that is something that I'm really working on. It's getting more systematic with my numbers, because I know as I grow a team, I'm going to need to do that so that I can track it very well. I do track my business year over year, month over month. But it's kind of a lot. Like in the past week and a half, I've probably gotten 7 or 8 agent referrals. Most of the time people just call me up and say, hey, I have a referral for your area. So-and-so told me that you were awesome. We needed to connect. My broker called me the other day and said, I swear to God, I've signed 5 agent referral forms today. What's going on? And it's just an absorbent amount. I mean, I couldn't tell you, but I do know that, like I said, I have 92 under contract and sold. And then in my just pipeline of people that I have to stay in contact with, it's probably over 150.
So, and it's so impressive, right? And especially because like I'm year 7, I'm almost to year 8, you're just in year 3, but you just went right. Like there's no excuses, just did the work. And you said that in the first 3 months or 3 quarters, like your 4th quarter business surpassed all the other quarters, just because it was compounding and you were so faithful to your follow-up. Eventually you're not going to be able to have the time probably to do that. So it's great that Jordan's joining you and you're going to be able to grow it, which is great. But again, you're going to leverage off the servicing part of the clients. And I'm assuming you're still going to be doing your deal. That's awesome. And I think Jen had a question. She just said, what client events do you do?
So I'm going to touch on that. And let me just say this. You know how people hire ISAs? I feel like I'm the ISA of my business. I do the lead gen. So one thing that I don't want to give up as I grow a team is that piece. I still want to be the ISA. Even when my goal and my vision is that even when I bring agents onto my team, we're going to have one lead gen mini database, like a Google Excel sheet, where we have every single person's leads and contacts in that. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm teaching my agents how to follow up, but also following up with those people myself, even if I'm not the person that brought them to the team, because I want them to remember the Taley Hunt home group. Taley cares enough to reach out personally until we get so big that I can hire an ISA. But I feel like the personal touch is so important. I do various different client events. So just recently we did a summer fun day where I got some inflatables and bouncy houses, an icy shop, a food truck. Everybody came out and it was totally free for anyone who visited. I've done movie theater nights where I rent out a movie theater and just invite anybody, past clients to max capacity. We do that. I've done little mini fall festivals, photo shoots for my clients during the holidays with a photographer. So lots of different various things. And we try to do one once a quarter.
That's great. I love that. And then I want to ask more about Instagram, but as far as those, do you only invite your past clients in Sphere, or is it open to everybody? Because I know you say you have like your mom's group, for example.
Yeah. So my first line is to invite all of my past clients and all of my Sphere. I let them all RSVP. And then once a couple weeks have passed, I reach out to other people too. So I'll reach out to my mom's group and invite them as well, or to the local military communities and say, hey, come out, maybe my neighborhood. It is very, very heavily client oriented because I want them to feel exclusive and like family. But I also really see the need here locally for a lot of families to be able to find things to get out and do. And so I try to provide those opportunities when there is room for them.
I love that. And going back to Instagram real quick. So why did you choose Instagram, and do you use it? Like, how do you use other social media platforms?
So I like Instagram because it works in tandem with Facebook. I can post on Instagram and at the same time post on Facebook. It was something that I was super familiar with. I mean, I'm 27 years old, so I kind of grew up, in my teens with a phone in my hand, and I have been using Instagram anyway. At first I started and I had a separate Instagram than my personal Instagram. But then I quickly realized, why would I do that? Because all the people who know, like, and trust me are on my regular Instagram. So I just changed the name of my regular Instagram to Taley.soldit. And now I push all my content there. And recently, within the last year, I have started using TikTok as well. Probably within the last, like this year, because they invited me to be on a TikTok panel at family reunion. And I was like, what the heck?
I was there. I saw you there.
Yeah, so I decided to do TikTok more so that I didn't look like an idiot in front of everyone. And now I use that on a regular basis too. I would say I'm more active on Instagram, but I do try to post at least, several times a week on TikTok as well. And then people find me there. Sometimes my videos go a little crazy and it kind of blows up, but I often find, I had someone message me on TikTok the other day and say, I've seen you twice now. It must be fate. We're about to move. Can you help us sell our house? And it just worked that way.
Love that. And because I've heard her speak before, one of the reasons I love you, Taley, is because you have so much business coming to you. It's a great problem to have, but it forces, like, you're not super organized as far as like, I do this many videos on this day and I do recordings on this day. So I love just like, you're kind of organic with it, but you get it done. So can you let us know like how that normally goes within your week? Because I know it's not like a set time.
That's right. So I don't have a set schedule. I just know that I have to post at least once a day. And if I don't post that day, it's because it's been absolutely berserk. And when I say berserk, I mean, I have had to have like nightmares going on in my business for me not to. And I try to even still find stuff. So like I can go back into my camera roll and find a random video that I used several months prior to, maybe like a video of me sitting at my computer or walking into a new construction. And I can take that same video and recreate it for new content with a new message. But it is very off the cuff. It is not very planned out. I will say one thing that I have started doing is my VA is responsible for creating a log of social media topics that I can talk about, so that if I ever get, brain stuck, I can just go to that Google Doc and pull up a topic and create a quick post about it. She uses Chat GPT for that. Just,
We had a Kristen Carter on for ChatGPT a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a really valuable tool, and I don't use it very often, but I do like to have a few pages of content that I can just grab and pull from and create a post that is very authentic to me and how my messaging is. What I will say is that I have learned that you can reuse content. You can go back to something you posted a year and a half ago and repost the same exact thing. Because the people that were following you a year and a half ago may not be the same people that are following you today. I think we kind of overcomplicate it, so it can be very simple. And also, if you do a reel, whatever message you do in that reel, you can turn around and make a graphic about it, and vice versa. If you post something in your stories and you speak about a topic in your stories, you can then make a permanent space for it on your feed. So I think that it doesn't always have to be something fresh and brand new. It can be reused and reworded so that it seems that way to your audience.
Yeah, I love that. And besides ChatGPT, do you use any other tools like apps or
Yeah.
anything like that?
So I use Canva to create branded posts. I think branding is super important. Pink is my brand, and I just started throwing in some neon yellow and orange, but for the past 2 years it's been pink, and it really works. I have a lot of people that reach out to me and say, I saw this pink outfit and immediately thought of you. You should buy it. So just trying to stay top of mind. I use an app called Captions. Captions allows me to create a video, upload it, and then all the words that I'm saying pop up on the screen, and that's free. I also use CapCut. So if I am compiling multiple videos together at one time, I can use CapCut to kind of like piece them together. And
Yeah.
I think, like I said, I think people overcomplicate it. I don't think it's always about the quality of your post. I mean, I think your post should have good quality. You should be bringing out valuable information. I think it should be something to catch someone's eye. So there's a strategy to it, but you cannot grow. Instagram is so oversaturated. Everybody's on Instagram. You cannot grow posting 3 times a week. I just don't believe that you can. I think you have to do it very consistently. And I think a lot of agents fall into this rut of, oh, I've created video for 2 months and nothing has come of it, so I'm not going to spend my time doing it anymore. It's a long game to be able to see the ROI. And when you do, it's massive because you're not paying for it. So everything you get from there is 100% profit.
Yeah. And you said you post once a day. So does that mean you post on your feed, you post on your story, you post a reel, a combo of all of them?
Right.
What does that mean?
So I post at least one reel or at least one static post per day. If I'm not doing it, it's because it's a Saturday or a Sunday and I'm resting. But most of the time, even still, I find content to post. There's not really a system. I will say that I try to be more video heavy because I believe that Instagram pushes video out. So whether it's a post of me actually speaking or just of a video of me with words over top of whatever I'm posting. But I also pop up on stories every single day. So I'll post on my feed, I'll share that feed to my stories, I'll get on there and talk, I'll recap my day, I'll add engagement opportunities. So I might post a photo of me and put a poll and have people vote, or different things like that, because I think it's important to stay engaged. The kicker is though that you have to engage with other people too, because the more you talk to them, the more your stuff is going to pop up on their feed. So you can't just post and ghost. You have to post and stay on top of it and spend a few minutes every day scrolling through, liking, answering your DMs, commenting on people's stories, all the things. I do a mixture of personal and business. My feed posts are very business oriented. It is very much me teaching you something, me telling you how my business is going, me telling you how I got there. I think if you see more personal stuff, it's likely on stories. I think stories are where you go to build trust and people get to know you. And then they look for your content where you can teach them things when you're scrolling through.
Yeah, and that's great. I think you just answered Jen's question. I had a question for you on, and again, the reason I love you is you're not super scheduled or planned out or have like a master plan. Your number one like superpower is consistency. But I also know, like, whenever I think of like, what's your brand? I know because I follow you, it's pink, it's moms, it's military spouses, right? Military wives, military families. Do you try to like do a mixture of that on like, okay, I haven't done one military post in a while, or you're like on Tuesdays I do this, or is there any like rhyme or reason to how you break down like your brand, right?
So there's not any rhyme or reason to it. There's not like a scheduled on Tuesdays I post here, on Wednesdays I post this, but I am just cognitively aware of you attract the people that you want to come to your business, you have to market to them. So my first year I did 28 transactions, 27 of them were buyers. This was in 2021. I was freaking exhausted and I had a baby on my hip. I was going everywhere and I was taking her everywhere with me. And finally I realized if I want people to trust me to sell their home, I have to look like I'm the expert at it. I did not know what I was doing, but I posted content that was attractive to people who wanted to sell their houses. And so I went from one seller in 2021 to 24 sellers in 2022. And I've listed that many houses this year in 2023. And it's because I do a mixture of here's some helpful information for buyers. Here's also helpful information for sellers. And then my target audience, the people that I work with the most, are military families. So I will also add things in there that are pertinent to people who are using VA loans or are PCSing from place to place. I talk about being a mom. I talk about being a woman in business. I think a lot of people think that social media is just a way to find buyers and sellers. I use it as a way to build agent relationships so that I can get more agent to agent referrals. This year so far, I've probably gotten over 40 agent to agent referrals, and it all comes from online. So I use social media to teach agents how to grow their business so that they look at me as the expert and they come to me and they think of me as the Columbia, South Carolina agent. And then I add those people into my database. So about 1/3 of my database is made up of agents. And then I communicate with them on a regular basis too.
And how does that communication work? Because it doesn't sound like you use a CRM, which sounds nuts to me because you keep seeing Excel spreadsheet. Do you have
I
one?
do. Yeah, I use
Okay.
Command. I use
Okay.
Command faithfully.
Cool.
I have them systemized, right? So like I tag buyers as buyers, I tag sellers as sellers, I tag agents as agents. And then I take opportunities to reach out to agents. I don't do it all the time, but I sent out a text the other week that said, and I seriously, genuinely was curious about what was going on in the market across the United States. And I said, this is Taley Hunt in Columbia, South Carolina, checking in or something like that. And I said, where are you located and what is your market? Is it a buyer's or seller's market? So then that allowed people to tell me what was going on where they were, remind me where they are at. And then we started having back and forth conversation. And I did a mass text through Command. I just put in the chat a website, taleyhuntreferralgroup.com. That is a landing page that I made through Command. If you click on it and you fill your information out, you will automatically go into my CRM. And then my VA will tag you as an agent. And you will get a text message that says, hey, I'd love to send you a gift. What is your address? So now I have your phone number, your address, and your name. And when I do send out a little pop by or something to agent referral partners, I have your address and I don't have to ask for it. I don't, and then I also went to Austin, Texas for the Top Agent Mastermind, and I used that as an opportunity to reach out. So I said, going to a mastermind with Gary Keller, do you want my notes? And everybody was like, heck yeah, I want your notes. So, and I tagged it with, Taley Hunt in Columbia, South Carolina. So just any way I can to provide value to other agents and build that relationship and stay top of mind, because I want people to know this is where I work. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know where other people work. I suck at that. But if more people reached out to me and reminded me where they work, I would know. I know there's a handful of people that I know exactly where they work because they are branded that way, because we interact on a regular basis, because they remind me, whether they do it intentionally or not. So I try to remind people.
Yeah. No, that's great. And you got a lot going on. We see, and I love also how your road to 100, you just drew 100 houses on like a piece of paper or like a cardboard or whatever. So it wasn't like you have to have this beautiful art and have to just spend time designing it and getting it printed, etc. Literally, Taley just drew 100.
And they were awful.
And I was about to say, in the nicest way, you're not a great artist.
No,
so
they were
it's
awful.
just 100 houses, and she just colors them in. It can be super simple because you spend time on things that are income producing,
right?
Which is amazing. I had a couple other questions for you before I open it up to everybody else, but I know that you've been on your road to 100 and you're going to hit it very, very soon. Are you increasing your goal, or are you taking time off, or what are you doing?
Neither. I'm not increasing and I'm not taking time off. I'm shifting. So starting in January, my plan is to officially launch the Taley Hunt Home Group as in terms of having producing agents on my team that I train and grow. I'm spending the second half of the year continuing to lead gen so that I don't lose my business, but taking one day a week to work on growing a team So I don't want to just randomly start one. I have been spending time interviewing and having mentorship opportunities with agents who run very successful teams, taking notes, creating training systems, and implementing those into my business, because my goal next year is not to go up, it is to go out.
Good. Yeah, because you just work so much. I wanted you to just take a vacation. Do you take vacations?
So, I try. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not healthy when it comes to time off. I'm just not. I never took a maternity leave and that was because my business was starting to ramp up and I didn't want to lose the momentum. I do a lot more time off ish than I used to. We're going to Disney in December. My anniversary is in October, so we'll go somewhere there. I need to do better with that. That is probably something that I really need to work on. But I'm not I don't want to lose the momentum. So until I feel really comfortable with passing off leads to other people and feeling like I don't have to work 10, 12 hours a day, but I view it this way. My daughter is 2, and soon she will be in school and she'll be in extracurriculars, and we will really want to be very present for that. So I spend as much time as I possibly can with her now. I moved my office home so that I could be home more. And I do all the things with her, but I also work very hard on my business because one day I want to not have to work 10-hour days. I want to be able to be off work at 2:30 when she gets home and spend the rest of the day with her.
I love that. You're building your life by design and you're grinding now, which is fantastic.
Right.
And I wanted to just shout out something. So on our team, we have definitely a culture of giving. And I know that I think it was just last week, you gave a rather large donation to what I assume is your alma mater. So just wanted to shout you out for that, because as hard as you work, you're not really spending it on yourself. I think you might be buying a new car soon, which I saw, but you spent it, you gave it away. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of highlight space to talk about that and possibly inspire others.
So I went to the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. My husband and I are from a little town in North Carolina. We are both American Indian, and the university that we went to is the first American Indian university in the country. So the first place that our people had space in. And I went there twice. I graduated from there with my undergraduate and my master's in business. And this month was my biggest month ever. I sold 23 houses this month and made probably over $200,000. And I get a little emotional because I just remember starting this business and
I get emotional
really
too.
scared,
I scared. I mean, I cried when you posted about it because I was like, it's special to be able to do that.
I started this business and I remember applying for jobs and being terrified. I remember telling my mom I was pregnant and she was like, you just moved, you just quit your job, you're getting your license. What the heck are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. And I did. And so I just feel very blessed. I feel so blessed and so humbled. And I can't believe that I get to do this every day, right? And that I get to have a business like this. And so I think about how can I give more to people? And I think about where I learned a lot of these skills. And I go back to my time in college where I was a part of the Office for Community and Civic Engagement. And we did a lot of volunteerism on campus and out in the world and out in the community. And I was sitting in church and I said, how can I give back and give people opportunities? And I decided I'm going to give $25,000 to this office at my alma mater. And I called my husband and I said, I'm going to give this money and I want it to be anonymous. And then I called the director and I said, I'm giving this money and I want it to be anonymous. And she said, okay. And I said, I'm giving $25,000. And she was like, are you freaking kidding me? And she said, you can't be anonymous because if you're anonymous, then people won't be inspired to give. So I did that, and it just happened to be the perfect time because the state just cut budgets and they were going to have to let go of a lot of their student workers. So because of my gift, now I think 12 people get to keep their jobs for the year, which is super awesome. And those students get to have those same opportunities to grow and learn and become people that impact the world in a positive way. So that was super awesome. I'm so glad I got to do that. And it's just crazy, you know. And when I decided to do that gift, right after that, I had 2.5 weeks where I didn't put anybody under contract, and I was like, this is just awful. Like, what in the world? I've pledged to give this gift, and then my business kind of, and then, you know, the next week I put 9 people under contract, and I said, see, you know, things always work out. It's all about that compounding movement, that forward movement.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. I think those are all the questions I had prepped for Taley, but I'm glad you guys got to meet her. Does anyone else, if you guys want to either put it in the chat or unmute for the next, 10, 15 minutes, we can chat with Miss Taley. She's good at lots of things, not just Instagram.
Right.
No, I think everyone's just crying.
I do get very emotional because I just can't.
Like I said, I got emotional even just reading about it and seeing you guys doing that.
Yeah, well, it's very surreal. It's
sorry.
crazy. I just didn't think I would be able to do this. You know, my goal my first year was to sell 10 houses to match my husband's salary. And then last year, I went from making like $37,000 a year full time. Last year, my GCI was 630. Just absolutely insane to me. So now I get to spend time helping my daughter be great too, because I have the resources to do.
And I see little reset all over the place. So I love that.
She is all over the place.
And I think Tamala,
Hi, good morning.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, can you please tell me the name of the app that you said that you use that does the captions?
It's called Captions. I just put it in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I just want to say, wow, 23 homes in a month, super inspiring. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And Hillary?
Yeah, congratulations, Taley. That's amazing. I have a question. In terms of as you start growing your team and leading your team, how do you think you can best translate your work ethic, your grit, what you did, how you did that into someone else? Because people are, I mean, we all, most of us lead teams, or a lot of us do, and it's very hard to like convince someone that the hard work will pay off, or like how do you get the grit out of somebody else like you've had and you've experienced? Everybody wants what you have, but some people aren't willing to like do the work to get there. So how do you think you're going to approach that?
My goal for, next year at least is to make people earn it, make people earn the spot to be on the team. I am fortunate to be the top agent in my MLS outside of big teams, right? And even then, I'm still really close up there. So I feel I have a lot of people who reach out to me and say, I want to be on your team. Well, I don't have a team yet, but I have a showing partner, and she is going to have been my showing partner from March of this year until December, and then she will join my team in January. And she has had an awesome opportunity to prove herself, and she's totally bought in. She's a military significant other. Her significant other is moving to Texas, and she is staying here to work with me for another year, which is so awesome. So she's 100% bought in, and I have changed her life by taking her from a cashier to someone who makes a few $1,000s every month as my showing partner. And then when I get sign calls, I'll hand them to her, and sometimes they close it, sometimes they don't, but I mentor her along the way. I took career visioning, and that helped me a lot. I'm about to build my bench and bring on another showing partner. And if that showing partner wants to, they can eventually become an agent as well. But for the first several hires, it's going to be an earn your spot. You do not just get to join my team, be an agent, and get leads. You have to show up every day, prove why you should be an agent on the team, and then can get promoted that way. I'm very territorial because I built my business from scratch, and every lead that I have comes from this business that I've built. It's not a Zillow, it's not a realtor.com, it's not a Veterans United partnership. It is something that somebody has come to me because of the business that I built. So giving those leads out to me feels like you have to earn it. I have to be able to trust you. I have to know that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. And then, I don't know what will happen after that, but my goal is to reward effort. So I'm not just going to feed you. I need to know that you're doing what you've got to do as well, because I can handle my leads. I can handle the business. I have the leverage in place. I might go a little cuckoo, but I can do it. And I can always give it to my husband. And that's the way I look at it, you know? So why should I give you that lead? Why should I provide you with business? Are you bringing things to the team as well? That is the mindset that I have, because this is a mentorship opportunity, but it's not just that. It is a way to learn and grow. And I'm not going to feed you if you don't feed us as well.
I love that. And I love that might be slow growth, right? And that's okay.
And that is totally okay. People tell me all the time, with the numbers you're doing, why don't you have a team? You need to start a team. That's not important to me. It is important to me that I do it the right way. And if it takes me an extra 6 months to get there, at least I know I have my shit together. And it may not be perfect. I'm sure there will be trial and error, but I'm doing everything I can do now to learn from the best of the best and say, what were your mistakes? How can I avoid them?
Yeah. Love that.
Hey, nobody's business is perfect, so that's okay.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. And Laura had a question again about your org chart. Would you mind repeating who's in your world right now?
Yeah, so I have me, and then everybody stems from me. So I have me and my transaction coordinator, my husband, my showing partner, and my VA. My next goal is to add another showing partner, which I will probably do at the end of July. I already have someone picked out. And then I'm going to add an additional TC, someone who handles buyers, so that my current TC can handle listings. And then that TC will report to my current. That's the goal anyway. And then because my husband just got licensed, I told him he has to shadow me for a month, and then I'll give him a deal and we'll figure that out. But
I think Jordan's been helping you with operations so far-ish.
Yeah, so my daughter,
he's been in the business.
Yeah, he's been in the business on the back end. To be honest, it's been a very big transition. My daughter didn't have childcare for a while, so he really stepped it up at home and done everything he could do without having a license. And now that he's licensed, he can do a little bit more. So we're excited about that. And she has full-time childcare now, so that's great.
That's awesome. Is there a sibling coming anytime soon, or?
Absolutely not. We're good.
I know. I knew that. That's why.
We are solid.
You're good. You're going to grow a business. Family is good to go. Well, that's amazing. Anyone else have any questions for Taley? And go follow her, friend her on Facebook. I just love how genuine you are. So, and thank you again for taking some time out in your obviously very, very busy schedule to spend some time with us. And if you guys have anybody in Columbia, South Carolina, Taley's your girl.
I put a link in here. You can click that link and join my database. I'm also going to put a link to all my socials, so you can click that and it'll take you to literally anywhere. I see this last comment that says, I imagine if someone told you that in your first few months as a new agent, you would not have believed it. You're absolutely right. When I was pregnant, I asked someone, gosh, what do people do for childcare? Like, do people take their kids to showings? And this man said, that is so unprofessional. Hire someone to watch your kid. And I had really bad postpartum anxiety, and I did not hire anyone to watch my kid, and everybody loved seeing her. So I know I wouldn't have believed you. I did not think I was going to succeed at all. And I'm just so glad to have built a business where people are very understanding. They feel like mom life is first, and it is awesome. I love this business, and I'm glad to have been able to do it and glad to be able to share with you guys.
Awesome. Anyone else have any questions before we let Taley go? Or is there anything else you wanted to tell us?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Well, thanks again for spending your morning with us, and Texas, have a great day. And Taley, you too. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.